After you save the world twice, why not go steal some stuff? Yeah, exactly. Basically this. You're like... Why are you becoming a criminal? When you're... I mean, you're just trying to save the world or something like that. Yo. So welcome everyone tuning in. How's it going? I'm directly gonna pour myself another glass of juice and water. Hydration is still important. Much better. Here you go, by the way. This is my 6-link unidentified Shorbet Shaber. Lots of hype. Yay. Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, it's gonna be a big one. What will be the announcement? We got a timer. Because I knew the question would come. I was like, yeah, we're gonna have a timer on screen. And that's why there's a timer on screen. What's this? Alright. pathofexile.com, guys. Ladies and gentle cats. Heist! It's a heist, of course. Wait. I'm gonna open that again. It's not loud enough.
Thank you, everyone, for being on time.
Yeah, the scene changed. It should be this one.
We have a lot to cover. The mark is in the rear of the dining hall. Cast, you're up first. You'll need to crack the lock and get us inside.
I hate this.
Once we're in, Talina will use the vents to bypass patrols. There's a steel barrier that blocks access to the hall. Tibbs, can you handle it? Great. Then Isla just needs to bridge the gap. There's enough in that bunker for all of us to live very comfortably. If we stick to the plan, we should have no trouble at all.
I don't understand why they have laser barriers.
It's
not very medieval.
To the plan.
Yeah, that health situation always concerns me. Well, I mean, we're going to rob something.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games.
So yeah, and for a while they haven't done that, right? They hadn't done the Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. In this new league, you will plan and execute elaborate heists.
So see, the cat and the bow tie is not Zana.
Travel to the rogue harbor and hire a crew of thieves to perform tasks such as lockpicking, demolition, and transportation.
Wait.
Break into a... this new league, you will plan and execute elaborate heists. Travel to the rogue harbor and hire a crew of thieves to perform tasks such as lockpicking, demolition, and transportation.
Okay, lockpicking, demolition, transportation. So basically 3 departments, like in Legion.
Break into a secure facility and be careful not to trigger the alarm. Bypass security measures and infiltrate the vault containing a valuable artifact. Make a mad dash back to the extraction point to lock in your haul. Use your cut of the profits to obtain a blueprint, uncover escape routes, and train your crew as you plan the ultimate job, executing a grand heist.
It is Betrayal 2.0.
From exclusive new items such as alternate quality gems, trinkets, body and weapon enchantments, replica unique items, experimented base type.
Did you see that? Did you see all sockets are linked
Trinket,
on that body armored implicit? Life modifiers have 6% increased effect and all sockets are linked. So basically no matter how many sockets you have on this thing, it's always completely linked. And the life is 6% increased. That's pretty dank, no? I wonder how rare these enchantments are.
In weapon enchantments, replica unique items, experimented base types, and more.
Ooh.
Plan your escape on September 18th.
Mad Dash timed encounter? Yeah, you're right. Clear Speed League again. But Harvest wasn't Clear Speed, so Delirium was the last Clear Speed one, so. Should we check Ziggy, or is he still checking out the announcement?
Now, let's talk payment.
Oh,
The
okay.
heist is all about the prizes you walk away with, right? The artifacts we're finding in heists are just a means to the end, fence them for markers to fund bigger heists. But it's the real loot we're after here, and it turns out there is a crazy amount of new stuff to find in heist. In the game's lore, there is only one copy of each unique item. They are unique. Because of their prized nature, experimenters have sought to create replicas of these legendary items with varying levels of success. Replica uniques are a new type of unique item that are based on the originals, but are a bit different. Take this Iron Commander knockoff that scales with strength rather than dexterity, and affects Shrapnel Ballista rather than Siege Ballista. Not only are replicas like this a bit of a twist on existing uniques, but they also potentially create new builds or ways of building characters around these items.
That's crazy.
Another example is this Replica Ambu's Charge, which gives significantly better endurance charge
Well, the
generation,
Q&A is live.
but causes you to lose
This
life
is the video
rather
that
than to
Ziggy
regenerate it.
prepared. This
Greater
is
power
premiering
than the
right now.
original, but also a new drawback. Of
That's
course, in
nice.
addition to all of this, there will also be some new uniques to find in Heist, such as Corpse Walker, boots that create corpses wherever you step. A true red carpet experience. Another new unique will be Chains of Emancipation, a belt that curses you with temporal chains when you get hit, but generates rage when you get rid of the curse.
That's
But once again,
what we always
that's
wanted.
not all, for there will be some other new things to loot and steal in Heist as well. For the first time since release, a new equipment slot has been added to Path of Exile in Heist, Trinkets. This dedicated slot allows you to specialize in improving your heist rewards in different ways, such as having additional divination card drops, converting regal orbs to exalted orbs when they drop, or making some items drop corrupted. Most of these modifiers are focused on changing loot in heists themselves, though some may extend beyond somewhat, such as the increased marker drop from monsters that we see on one of these items here. As trinkets drop corrupted, they cannot be crafted, and finding a few good ones could prove an interesting way to focus on boosting different
Chance for
rewards.
regal orbs to be replaced
Obviously,
with
here
exalted
with the theme
orbs
of
in heist.
heisting loots, the loot had to be pretty interesting, so GGG has made a lot of new options in addition to the regular rewards the game tends to offer.
That's
the risk
awesome.
of losing contraband items alongside
So a lot of
the chance
people
to
were
select
saying
one of
that,
several items from
they want a
random
loot-based
means that
league now
higher
after all the
quality is the normal.
crafting.
It's good to mention as well that almost everything in Heist is tradable, from contracts to markers to filled out blueprints, so there should be a lot of possibility to tailor your Heist experience to your tastes. Because you can also hoard markers and contracts, it'll be possible to engage with the league when you want to as well, without running into situations where you're forced to interrupt what you're currently doing. GGG also wants to note that they've made extra effort here to ensure that Heist works well in party play, which has taken a bit of a backseat in some recent leagues. Aside from the league itself, Heist also brings new additions and improvements to several skill categories. The first is curses. With the addition of various means of casting curses, there ended up being no real reasons to manually handcast them. Without harming these other methods of cursing, GGG is interested in providing some valid reasons to cast a curse yourself. Firstly, now when you cast a curse directly, it will grow in intensity over time, providing some pretty tangible benefit to those curse cast speed, AoE, and duration nodes on the tree.
Bane league
Various
start?
curses have been tweaked and improved overall, and there will also be several new gems that interact
that's
with
not
curses,
handcasting.
such as the impending Doom support. This new support gem causes cursed enemies to explode when the supported curse ends, whether by monster death or otherwise. In the footage, for example, the player is actually overriding the supported curse with another curse to remove it, thus triggering the explosion. In Heist, Lancing and Shattering Steel are being reworked, and 2 new steel skills are being added to expand this steel archetype. Shards work as bonus ammunition for steel skills, providing benefits depending on the skill itself.
That sounds
Shards
crazy.
can also impale into enemies, and Call of Steel will burst these shards from the enemies as well, causing damage in the process.
That's cool. But they have their own like little system. Shard
Lancing
system.
Steel's rework allows it to use shards from Call of Steel to create a lingering turret to fire upon enemies,
Better
lasting
fizz
longer
frost
the more
blades,
shards
yeah.
that are used. We'll also be seeing some spell reworks and new spells focused around the idea of providing powerful effects when used alongside other abilities. Flame Wall, for example, creates a wall of fire that deals damage over time to enemies that try to move through it. It also sets any projectiles fired by you and allies on fire, causing them to deal extra fire damage and burn enemies.
Any
Projectile-based
projectile?
builds will be able to create a wall to both zone enemies and enhance projectiles they fire through, providing extra benefit to players making
Wait.
good use of positioning.
But fireballs are already on fire. How can they be augmented with fire?
I think I've personally saved the best for last though. Void Sphere is a literal black hole. Once placed, it begins sucking in enemies, grouping them up and damaging them.
Oh.
Enemies that die near a void sphere will be completely absorbed, leaving nothing behind. While it doesn't affect unique bosses for obvious reasons, it should provide some very powerful benefits in grouping up monsters, controlling an area on the map, and preventing monsters from leaving dangerous corpses behind. Also, it
Actual
looks
CC.
super dope.
Super dope. It is kind of cool how it like sucks them up.
And there we have it for now. I hope you've enjoyed my first look at Heist. There's a ton of stuff for GGG to tease us with over the coming week.
I like how everyone got baited into thinking
You
it was
violated
something
the
with
law.
Sana.
Pay the court a fine or serve your sentence. Your stolen goods are now forfeit.
No, chat. The black hole doesn't suck up your loot, don't worry.
Wow. Replica abysses with triple LE damage. That's crazy. Trigger level 5 toxic rain whenever you attack with a bow. Wow. Dude. Eldritch battery during flask effect. What? What's a replica Sorrow of the Divine, dude? It's like a knockoff. A cheap knockoff, so it doesn't have Zealots off, but it has Eldritch Battery. I like this thing though, with the all sockets linked. This is crazy though. This is so crazy. Also increased elemental damage taking instead of increased fizz. Rework, Discharge, and Glacial Cascade.
What do you think of trinkets? Kind of wild, right? So I kind of hate Magic Find, like rarity and quantity in these games. In action RPGs typically, I think they're dated mechanics. But this is a much more interesting way of doing Magic Find, having a dedicated gear slot to it that is like customizable and changeable.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with Ziggy there. I feel like personally that that I think that's a test that they're going to, moving forward, they're only gonna have MF stats on that dedicated gear slot, and maybe on some uniques, but like generally I think they're gonna move away from MF on gear, because that just is just silly, because this shouldn't compete with actual build power. But yeah, let's see. I mean, it's only a handful of minutes, and then we're gonna get some questions and answers from Ziggy and Chris.
The items that you'll get in Heist, especially some of those specific ones, like alternate bases and enchanted weapons and chests and things like that, will be using this new system or a version of this new system. So the ones in the video were simulated rolls, basically, and they rolled with modifiers that you would try and craft. Chris said it's like the people who were experimenting. It wouldn't make sense for it to be a shitty item, he said, basically. So it's like the art that they had been crafting it. They had been attempting to craft it and had rolled at something at least halfway decent. So much higher chance, hopefully, of seeing something halfway usable or even potentially very good. What do we got here? Herald of Agony with quality 7%. Minions deal less damage. Agony Crawler has 7% chance to inflict Withered on hit. Interesting. Archmage. What is this one doing?
Yeah, that's the one with flat damage. Flat cold and flat lightning damage.
Gain added cold damage. Wait, what? Added cold damage?
Path of Exile Heist. In Path of Exile Heist, you will hire skilled thieves to help you pull off risky heists, steal valuable artifacts to fund and train your crew as you plan towards the execution of a grand heist. Our September expansion contains the Heist Challenge League, 9 new skills and support gems, revamps of curses, steal skills, and some spells. Grand heists offer exclusive new rewards such as weapon and body armor enchantments, heist items, alternative quality gems, and replica unique items. So that's the ones that you saw earlier already. So uncover the Rogue Harbor. So you buy your passage to the Rogue Harbor and then you consort with a crew of thieves who offer services. There's 13 rogues that can be contracted to assist you with setting up or executing a heist by filling roles such as transportation, lockpicking, and demolition. When you hire the specialists, you basically make sure that you know exactly where the location of the artifact is and what defense's safeguard is. Contracts containing these clues can be found throughout Wayclast alongside coins with the mysterious emblem of the Rogue Harbor. Travel there and turn in these objects to hire the expertise you need for your heist. That sounds cool. So these are basically maps. Another micromanagement league. I mean, there's always going to be some degree of micromanagement. If you can't escape the heist, you'll lose everything you stole while infiltrating the facility. You'll need to support your rogue while they bypass security in order to reach the vault. Be careful with how much commotion you cause, or you may trigger the alarm, causing the facility to be locked down. When this happens, it's time to run. Okay, so when you get caught, you just get kicked out. They don't kill you or anything, right? It's like losing a heist in hardcore is losing your character, or... Equip your crew. Specialized items can be equipped to rogues to make them stealthier, deadlier, and more adept at their roles. Like any other Path of Exile items, rogue equipment can be crafted with currency items. A well-equipped crew is a great asset when undertaking the most difficult heists. So 8% job experience gain? They can get, I thought they could get the, whatchamacallit, the talisman, the new item type, right? Medallions. Oh, wait, we got Chris Wilson already on.
I don't know if I can hear you. Could we just do an audio check real quick? Oh, I hear something.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we have you. Loud and clear. Good morning, Chris.
Hey, how are you going?
Welcome. Great. Yes, had a lot of fun checking out the harvest action over the past couple days and making my little videos and stuff like that. And lots of excited reactions today. Why in particular were you personally more excited for this one?
Heist has been really fun to work on right from the beginning because it's so evocative. Like, you say the word heist and immediately the development team knows what they're making. Right since we knew we were doing this, it was kind of the more interesting one to us thematically, if you see what I mean.
I remember Beck saying that she didn't want to reveal the name or even tease the name too much because if people figured it out, it would be pretty clear as to what would be happening with the actual league.
Yeah, we had to be careful with that one, because at least with Harvest, if someone works out the theme, they don't know what form gardening is going to take in Path of Exile. But with Heist, obviously you're going to go on heists, assemble a team, work out some plans, steal some cool stuff. And so we had to be really careful with the teasing. I suspect this is one of the things where once they randomly work out it's to do with boats, she makes sure to not roll that out in anything she says, while still not actually saying it is, if you see what I mean.
She's the master of this.
Yeah.
The master of deception.
Indeed, it's a lot of fun.
Sorry about the balks in the background. Doug's a little bit excited this morning. How much more work was this compared to something like Harvest?
Oh, it's a lot of work. Something like Harvest is more about the rules. We've taken a lot of pains to make sure that stuff kind of feels like you're playing through a heist movie. Like, you don't have to micromanage your rogues. You're basically just, playing through and watching them get past the obstacles as you're dealing with killing all the masses of guards that come out.
Someone's coming in through the vents, tumbling through the tripwires. How much of that stuff is actually in it? Is that actually in there, or is it just kind of like trailer stuff?
All of that stuff is stuff that you actually get to see in the game. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the only stuff that we handmade for the trailer was, the character pointing at direct parts of the actual heist plan that's on the table.
So you've got this loot contraband system where once you pick up an item, it's not technically yours yet until you actually make it out. Generally, people don't like to lose things once they have them. So tell me a little bit about the design process of this like concept of pseudo-hardcore
Sounds
looting
cool,
that
actually.
we'll see in Heist.
There's a number of factors there. In every league, we try to have something different that happens with combat. And the thing that's different with the combat itself here is the fact that you're working towards getting a reward that you have already selected. Now, it's clearly marked as contraband, so you know this is an item you haven't locked in yet. Generally speaking, if you're careful, then you're able to get the item out. And this is mostly where the alert level management kind of stuff comes in, right? We definitely do not want to make a league that works against the concept of, playing Path of Exile by killing monsters and fighting items. And so while the alert level does escalate as you do those actions, it's mostly a matter of choosing how many reward rooms you voluntarily go
finding
the way in. So you can get equipment for your rogues. And if you give them stuff that suppresses alert level, you can of course therefore steal more stuff. But you needn't worry too much about actual interactions with monsters in combat. I mean, sure, it marginally increases the alert level, but we definitely want to go in all guns blazing as a completely valid playstyle. If you want to kind of roleplay a stealth character that does enjoy hiding from the guards and trying to get through with a minimal amount of disruption, which can be a lot of fun, then you probably aren't picking a necromancer in the first place for that particular role. A lot of people describe Path of Exile's campaign as the tutorial, where maps is the actual endgame. And so we've kind of embraced the fact that mapping is where the player retention really kicks in. As you get to maps, the kind of drop-off curve of people abandoning the game due to it not being what they wanted completely gets eliminated, and once people hit maps, there's a huge burst of retention as they play through a lot of the Atlas content.
Does this also effectively act as a bit of a tutorialization for mapping?
Completely passively, yes. We're basically saying these are heists, go steal some items, and if people happen to learn about maps in the process, that's great. With heists, we need to have an elaborate structure that you infiltrate and then steal stuff out of, and burying that in the middle of an existing map has significant technical problems. By breaking it out into a thing that you find your contract/markers in the maps that you're playing, and then you go and do them, it both means we can have much, much more compelling and technically advanced encounters, and it also gives the player freedom to not have to do it right at that moment. Like, you all know the feeling of encountering Zana and then kind of feeling an obligation to run her mission because it was a free one that you'd otherwise not be able to do. It's like the flexibility you experience with Delve, but without a sulfite cap.
In this league, it seems everything is very tradable. What goes into the decision whether to make something tradable versus not being tradable?
Basically, if it's an item, it's tradable. We could have had it that you accumulate heists in the same way you accumulate incursions, and that grand heists are just like a temple thing that's sitting on your account. But this was a great opportunity to say, well, what if that was all tradable from the start? You can sit there setting up grand heists, revealing all the information and trading them to other people without ever running them yourself, or just trade for grand heists and run them without ever actually doing the reveals themselves, depending on what they personally enjoy doing the most. There's some light associations between contract types and the types of chests that you're going to find in those tile sets, and there's some strong associations with the grand heists to do with what kind of rewards at the end of the wings. Now, we're going to let people work that out as they're playing rather than list it all in a spreadsheet. But yeah, they'll learn that there's certain types that are better for certain rewards than others.
A lot of people have been asking about group play. This seems a bit more group play friendly. Would you be able to go into that at all?
Philosophically, we design the league, and then some of them better for group play than others. And if we made it so that every league was perfect for group play, we would have a lot less cool stuff that we could do. There's a lot of stuff you can do, right? So everyone's accumulating their intelligence for unlocking stuff when they do heists. And this means that if you have a blueprint you want to work on with your group, then you can share that intelligence by, like, I'll unlock this wing, I'm out of intelligence now, pass it to my friend. He unlocks some reward rooms or some escape routes, passes it around until everything's unlocked. Then you can play it together. There's various benefits of being in the area at the same time. For example, if I die and drop a pile of contraband, if I was alone, that's lost. Whereas if you're there, you can scoop it up and give me select parts that you tell me that you remember to bring out and keep the rest. And of course, the rogues kind of autonomously do their own thing, and that means that they can't die. What does happen, though, is if a rogue is hit while he's opening a door or assembling some explosives or whatever, it does reset the progress. You know, a little bit like opening a chest in an MMO, where you kind of want to not be interfered with while you're doing it. I mean, personally, when I'm picking locks in real life, if someone hits me in the face with a fireball, it really disrupts the flow. So,
do you spend a lot of time lockpicking, IRL?
Do you want a story? Okay.
Yes, I love a story.
Like, I had my magic cards locked away, and I managed to misplace the key, and so I relied on my wife to pick the lock, and that happened multiple times. That was embarrassing that she did it so quickly and looked so patronizing about it.
That's amazing.
Is there going to be any twists in the tales in the story here for Heist?
You're going to have to play it and see, and the best part about me saying that with a straight face is I have not read the Heist story. We'll find out on release day, right?
The twist could be that there's no twist. That's a lot of people. Is there like a lot of overlap between what they do?
There's a little bit of overlap with the skills, and you're going to want to pick your rogues based on your overall goal and what equipment you're giving them, you know, your playstyle. Maybe the best thing to do is not just bring the good lockpick, but to bring a bad lockpick and get them good at it so that they can then go on the more complicated ones later. You'll find contracts that have higher and higher level requirements for the stuff. So if you've been completely neglecting leveling up the right people and being really dumb about it, then you'll have some contracts you won't be able to run until you've gone and fixed the problem. But it's not a significant issue.
You can gear them as well.
It's not critical to micromanage the gear of your rogues, but you certainly want to put items on when you can do. They will have various benefits that will help you in different ways. More damage, better stealth level management, more experience gain for their skills. There's economic benefits with the amount of markers that the gang is taking and so on. Heist is a great opportunity for, in an appropriate context, to have characters with you which are implicitly limited in what they can do, but at the same time performing actions that are useful. Think of it as like test part 1 for how mercenaries work in Path of Exile. It's not a micromanagement league, right? Like the usual experience is you get a contract, you run the contract, the rogue follows you, you go through and steal some stuff and get out. Like there's little stuff to click on, apart from the monsters to kill them. Grand heists, of course, require a bit more planning, but you're not doing those particularly often, and so you will have to make some choices there about what you're going to be, focusing your reveals on. A lot of it is that we like to make it so that the micromanagement is kind of there for people who want to, I use the word roleplay, but people who want to really get into it. I enjoy the going on a heist aspect of this league, and there's various stuff that happens. Like there'll be people who are planning a heist, and they'll look at the blueprints and work out where the escape routes are, and then completely forget that when actually playing. It's kind of how I imagine heists going down in real life, which is highly illegal, of course, so it's good we can do it.
Thank you very much for your time, and have a good rest of your day. Enjoy everyone's reactions, and we're going to go take a look at some more of the stuff.
We can quickly go over this again. What I want from a future PoE league is much different from what was presented in Heist, but Heist does definitely have some elements of what I would like to see. So I'm curious about that. I really don't like optional leagues. And this seems very optional again. Actually to the point that it's going to be, unless you go into the Rogue Harbor and you're doing your contracts and your blueprints, this is gonna feel like a vanilla game, right? Like playing through the acts, mapping, there's like nothing that changes. And that's slightly worrying because I really thrive on the game being different and feeling different. That's why I like Betrayal so much, because Betrayal actually made you roll your maps differently and run through the maps differently, because you were always like Monka S, it could be intervention. It could, until you got your Betrayal encounter, you were always like, you don't know whether it's intervention. They could spawn on you any moment. That's really what I miss about this, is like it's purely optional, which is maybe a good thing to a lot of people. Yeah. I can't say I'm as hyped about this as I was about Betrayal, but I think this seems to be really, really fun. I can see this being a lot of fun, and I can see the items with the enchants being great. I can see the build making being super interesting again, with the variants of the gems, with the different quality benefit, and with the prototypes of the uniques. That seems very promising. Anyway, to round it off, I am excited about the minigame, because the minigame does seem interesting. Like I said, most promising minigame since Betrayal. I like the shifting around things, micromanaging members and getting different people into different divisions and stuff like that. And like, I'm pretty sure that planning a grand heist is going to be super fun and super rewarding. I'm not sure how ARPG it will feel and how PoE it will feel. I'm worried about that it might not really feel like PoE a lot, so that could be a problem. But I'm very, very hyped about the new options that will be provided by the alternate quality gems, by the replica uniques, the experimental base types with enchantments, the fact that we might get a currency item which will transfer enchantments from one item to another. Sounds also really cool. Now we'll have to wait until the teasers trickle in. See you guys. There'll be a lot of content in the next couple of days. Especially look out for the YouTube stuff. And thanks for the good luck with the apartment hunt. Thank you guys for the support. I'll see you soon. I'm definitely gonna work out something for the league start. Bye bye.